Hi there. It's a video I never thought I'd have to make. We got a cancer diagnosis. I did, I should say. And I'm going to talk about that. But I also wanted to let you know that the last 2 months have been very, very busy. You'll see why as I talk about it. And but I do have a lot of equipment things to review. We've picked up some new things, and I want to talk about that stuff. I have still a good backlog of travel, a lot to work on and to get out to you. And we also are going to be probably reviewing some coffee maybe again, because we're still drinking our espresso and enjoying that. And we've tried several different brands. We might give you some thoughts on those. And just, garden tour. I think I'll mention that later. We'll mention that later, but we are going to do a garden tour this year. Our garden turned out wonderful. And so stick around. I'm going to ramble and talk about my cancer diagnosis and how we got there, and let you know what to expect beyond that. And it should be good. It will not be, oh, woe is me, sad video. We're not there. We were there for a couple of weeks, I guess. But we're not anymore. We're upbeat, positive, and looking forward to the future and what it holds. And we hope you guys come along with us. And hopefully I can educate and enlighten people on what this whole process is like, because it is overwhelming at times. But once you get through the beginning of it, it's not as bad as you would think, at least not for me. And I realize as I meet other patients, a lot of people are in way, way worse shape. I talked to several people. I see them at my radiation every day. So they're much worse off than me. I'm very, very lucky at where I'm at. So I'll explain all that. Stick around, and hope you get something out of this. It started back in mid-July. Got a diagnosis that I never thought in my lifetime I would get. Got cancer. The first thing we found was, I noticed I had a lymph node here on my neck that seemed swollen. We started down the rabbit hole of testing and everything, and at this point I'm 8 days into treatment. I've got 7 chemo treatments every Monday. I've already done 2 of them, so I'm in week 2. I've got 35 radiation treatments, and that will take me through the last week of October. So it's been kind of interesting, and this video I'm just going to cover kind of the progress of what happened, what we discovered and everything, and up to kind of where I started treatment. And next we're going to do some other videos. I want to talk about how much all this stuff cost. It's pretty interesting to see the interactions with the insurance companies and the hospital or the clinics here, and also how hard it is to find out exactly what it's going to cost before they actually start the treatment. Also some other odds and ends that I've encountered, things that I think might be interesting to everybody. So this will be a part of our channel for a while, maybe a few months, and then after that it'll be less as I await I think a 3 and a 6 month follow-up. Just so you know up front, I'm expecting a full cure. So with that, let's dive right in. Back on I think about July 17, I went in to see the doctor and to check on this lymph node, and she thought it might be just swollen with an infection from a cold or flu that we had back in March. It took us about 6 weeks to get rid of it. A friend of mine also had the same type thing, and both of us were talking about it. We coughed up clear phlegm near the very, very end of it, which we both thought was really odd. So that was my only suspicion. She scheduled us for an ultrasound to check it, and if it was that, they were going to give me some antibiotics. So we did the ultrasound, and I got the results back the same day, and they said they suspected that it was malignant because of the shape. If your lymph node is round, it's more likely that it's cancer. If it's more oblong, that's more normal. And so the next step was a CT scan. If it was cancer in the lymph node, they wanted to find out where it originated, if there was something else that maybe they could find. So they did a chest and neck CT. It confirmed the same thing. Also, they found a nodule on my thyroid. And I thought, oh, all right, well, that's where the cancer is. And so the next step, let me backtrack just a second. The nodule indicated that it could be cancerous as well. And so they checked it with another ultrasound, which I thought was odd because I thought a CT would be more accurate than an ultrasound. But apparently the ultrasound is more diagnostic, whereas the CT is just finding it and measuring it or something. Anyway, so they did the ultrasound, and they recommended it be biopsied as well. So next step was 2 biopsies, one for here, for this, and they took 3 different samples out of it, and then they did a biopsy for the thyroid nodule here, and that was on a Friday. My grandson was coming to see us and stay with us for a week. We were picking him up over the weekend, so we're dealing with entertaining a 12-year-old and also waiting on results, which is agonizing. If you've been through this, you'll know that it's nerve-wracking waiting for the answers. We were at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago with him on Monday, and I was parking the car, and I got a notice on my phone that in my chart I had results ready. So I went and checked it, and it was for the thyroid, and it was negative. So the thyroid is fine. Thyroid levels have always been fine, still are. And after I did some research, I discovered that about half of the population has nodules on their thyroid. It's normal, it's not really that unusual, and really the only reason you'll ever find out about it is, like I did, you're getting tested for something else. Or if it grows really large and starts bothering you, then you might have to get it removed, but otherwise you may never ever even know that you have them. No results on the lymph node, and that one took longer. We didn't get that until Friday afternoon, I think it was. And that one came back as cancer, and it was squamous cell carcinoma, which could be lung, could be skin cancer, could be head and neck, like in your airway, your throat, your tongue, vocal cords, etc., in that area basically. And as it turns out, that's what they believe it is. I don't have anything that is suspicious in my lungs. I have one small 4mm nodule that they believe is just a dust or maybe left over from COVID or something like that. They're not really concerned about that. And so that was on the CT scan as well. So next step after that was a PET scan, full body PET scan, to see if we could find out where it was. I also had a ear, nose, and throat specialist that is going to look at me. We found Dr. Petrozelli here in Peoria. He's very, very good. He's been doing this for 30-ish years, and everybody highly recommends him, and I managed to get in to see him as well. Also, I scheduled a dermatology visit to see if I had any skin cancer, which I at the time thought I did, because I have a little bit of reddening here, and I had some, you can't see them anymore, they're gone, but I had a couple of little dry places on my arm. And in Dubai I hiked all the time and ran out in the sun in the afternoon all the time, and I thought, well, not using sunscreen finally caught up with me. But as luck would have it, dermatology completely clean. She froze the small scaly spots or whatever they were, said they were of no real concern. They're gone. Skin looks like new again. So that ruled out skin cancer, which I thought might be the easiest one, but turns out after seeing the Jimmy Buffett death. I think maybe I'm glad I didn't get skin cancer. The next step was the PET scan. PET scan came back and found nothing. The only thing it found was what we already knew, was several of the lymph nodes here had showed that they were cancerous, and but they couldn't find the source. So we also then went to see the ear, nose, and throat guy in between the time of the PET scan and getting the results for the PET scan. And when he sent the camera down my nose, down into my throat, checking my tonsil, well, not tonsils because I don't have tonsils, but checking vocal cords and everything, and he could find nothing in there either. So I'm one of those rare people that has cancer of that type, but they can't find the actual source. But they're almost 100% certain that it's somewhere in this part. That takes us up to getting the treatment scheduled and everything. The doctors at OSF and the Illinois Cancer Care work together on these things, and basically what they do is once they get all this diagnostic stuff, they will then have a confab on a Friday, and they will, among themselves, multiple doctors will review everything, and then based on what they all know and what they're finding out most recently, will decide what your course of treatment should be. And for me, they determined I needed 35 radiation treatments and 7 chemo treatments with cisplatin. Of course, when they brief you about it and tell you about it, they're talking about how it affects people, that it's going to be, could be so bad that you can't even finish the treatments. It'll damage your kidneys and, et cetera, et cetera. I'll talk about all that more in another video. But it scares you. You don't know what to expect out of it. When we finally met with the radiation oncologist, he was going over some of this stuff too, and at the end he was like, well, if it gets really bad we can give you morphine. And I'm like, oh my. That's kind of terrifying. I don't want to be on morphine. I don't want to need it. I don't want to be on it. And sorry, I have a little bit of dry mouth now. That's a side effect of the radiation apparently. To date, I don't have hardly any symptoms. I'm almost through with 2 weeks. Occasionally I'm getting a little bit of dry mouth. Another side effect of the chemo, or the radiation rather, I don't think it's happening yet, but it could be, is the salivary glands on one side could be completely damaged or killed off, and I'll end up with only 2 salivary glands, or however many there are on the left side. So they're treating basically this side, not doing both sides, which is good, because if they do both, the side effects in your throat and everything is a lot worse. So I think because I'm basically healthy, I don't have any other medical issues. I've always healed quickly and everything. I think that I'm tolerating all the stuff really well. I know somebody just told me the other day that they've been through this and they're shocked that I don't really have any symptoms 2 weeks in. My energy levels are great. When JD, my grandson, was here, we took him, into the city, and we walked around a lot and everything, and I just felt really tired. I think it was stress. I was a air traffic controller at O'Hare for over 20 years. I was controller in Dubai for 6 years. I deal with stress. It just rolls off of me like nothing. I thrived on that really busy, intense traffic at those places. And this really took me down for, I don't know, I think me and Maria were really just sucking wind for, I don't know, couple of weeks or a month until we got, the diagnosis. We're worried. And then once you hear it, that's just like you think the end is coming, and you don't know what to expect. The not knowing, honestly, is the worst part of all of it. And for me, I'm worried about Maria. I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about her. What's going to happen? How is she going to get by? And carry on if I'm not here? And, those are things you worry about. And for me, I had taken a DNA test with 23andMe a long time ago, and it said, one of my genomes says I should live to be over 100. And I thought, well, that's funny. I just got cancer. So how does that work? But it might still work out. They're expecting me to get a clean bill of health in the end, and I'm optimistic because the lymph node here definitely feels smaller. So if it's already shrinking, it means that it's all reacting positively to the treatment. And we're just at this point, we're just kind of going on with life. I will say, after we got it, I think it took us 2 weeks, because before the cancer, we knew it was cancer. We were worried, but not freaked out yet. We just didn't know what to expect. But every time we got another test, it was always, you need another test, which is, it could be malignant. That is scary, but you don't know yet. You're still hoping that it's not going to be anything. But then when you get the diagnosis, I think it took us 2 weeks to get over that. That was really hard for us. And then what was weird was we knew what the treatment to expect. I knew that they're going to want to do radiation and also the chemo. But the day that we sat down with the doctor and she explained all of it to us, along with all the possible consequences of it, that was almost like it started all over again. But it only lasted 2 days then. And then we were basically back to normal. And we are super supportive of each other, which is very, very helpful. All of our neighbors that are around us here are super helpful and friendly, and very supportive here for us, whatever we need. I've got friends around the world that I've worked with and known, and etc. That are all being very supportive. And we're at this point, we're very positive. We're there, and these are not going to be, oh, woe is me videos. Why did this happen to me? The way I look at it is shit happens, and you just deal with it. Maria's more emotional. I'm more analytical, and I see it as a problem. How do you solve it? What can you do? And if you can't do anything, you don't worry about it anymore. You move on. And so we're just trying to get the best out of every day and stay together and support each other in this and allow each other to experience it their own way. She's a little bit different than me. What I did is what I always do. When some family member or friend gets sick, I start doing research. I start digging and digging. And I can warn you, if you ever get in this situation, if you start doing cancer research and looking at statistics and all that, it is depressing. Do not do it. I definitely recommend not doing it. But I learned a lot. But what I did find, and we're going to cover this more extensively in another video, is that sugar is really like addictive to the cancer. That's how it gets its fuel. And it doesn't get it from fats. And keto it could be the key. Keto and fasting is a key to helping metabolically to heal yourself. So we started right away as soon as we discovered that, and we read a couple of books, watching a couple of doctors on YouTube that we felt like were legitimate and not, just somebody pushing whatever. But there's a lot of info, a lot of doctors, and I'm going to cover all that another time, but that are saying that this is metabolic, it's not genetic, or you could have a genetic trait, but maybe the metabolic is what's activating it. And there's numerous people that have completely eradicated or live with it, and it doesn't affect them at all, just through what they eat and how they live. So I think for us, the way we look at it is the lifestyle. If you eat all the carbs, which everything it seems like these days is carbs and sugars, you're basically fueling your own cancer and creating the problem. So we are going to be living in a different type of food environment. Now, it's not to say we're not going to go out and enjoy a nice dinner or and eat. We love bread, but we're going to try to make it high quality stuff and something we really enjoy. But our day-to-day weekly existence is going to be Mediterranean keto primarily, with some beef and chicken and stuff thrown in here and there. I think that's it for now. Like I say, I'm 2 weeks in. It's treatment is fine. The chemo, I don't really notice anything. They give me 2 IV push things of anti-nausea. They first hook you up. There's also a drip nausea. They put a ½ liter of saline in you, and then an hour of chemo drip. And I don't really feel anything during it. It's really they put a IV here, and I've got a little tiny dot there from it. It really is nothing. And they check my blood every week on Monday. They said if my blood work starts to decrease or deteriorate, they might do it more often. But my blood work actually, which has always been good, I've never really had any issues, actually improved slightly in some areas from week 1 to week 2. So apparently I'm like a cockroach that you feed it poison, and it's like, yeah, okay, thank you, I'll take some more. So anyway, we're optimistic, we're upbeat. I'm enjoying meeting a lot of the other cancer patients. I talk and joke with them, try to be positive and give them some of my positive energy, because I feel good about everything. I feel like we're doing the right thing. I feel like it's all progressing, the way it should. And whatever comes, as maybe my throat gets more sore, we're already prepared for that with some really high quality protein shakes and mixing in some avocado or spinach in the blender with it, something like that, or etc. So I think we're very well prepared for, my throat getting sore. And we'll be talking about all those kind of things. But the videos are going to all be upbeat, I hope. I'm not going to have, sad videos. I know there's a lot of that out there, and people are going through things that are a lot worse than what I'm going through. But what I want to do with this is just provide information to give people a feel for, what it's like and what maybe to expect. There's some interesting things that have come up. Big one is the financial stuff, and we're fortunate to have Blue Cross, because I was a federal employee. We're pretty well covered for that. I'm not too worried about that. But we will max out our deductible for the year for sure. And we're okay with that. So I think that's it. Sorry if I'm rambling, but I just wanted to get this out. I needed to get something out. I wasn't going to do it. I changed my mind like 6 times and decided that I wanted to share it because I thought I could provide some information that could be helpful to people. So I hope it is, and I hope as we go through this together that we both learn something. And if you have any comments or whatever, please share. We have found that I guess we were ignorant that there were so many people affected by cancer, but 2 of our neighbors have lost husbands to it, and 3 or 4 of my nurses that I talked to have had cancer and are survivors. The financial assistant person that we talked to has had breast cancer, and also it came back for her and on her liver, and now she's 5 years clean after another year on chemo. And we had wonderful conversations with her, all scheduled through OSF Healthcare. They have a lot of different things, nutrition, and financial counseling if you need it. Although it was kind of amusing when she talked to us, she realized that we really didn't need any help, and I ended up talking to her about credit card hacking and how to finance your medical bill interest-free with a credit card and just pay it off in monthly things instead of dipping into your savings, and some other ideas like that. So, but she was really helpful. I think it was the first conversation we had with somebody that had it, that shared a lot with us, and it made us feel better, gave us a better understanding. But almost everybody we talked to either has a friend that had it, a family member, they had it, somebody that, a friend or family member has passed. It really, really touches everybody, it seems like, and we just didn't know that. So it's also been an education for us. So I hope you enjoy these and get something out of them. So we have a lot to come, and hope you guys stay with us. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, bye bye.